Duncan gives it off to Ginobili. Had the 17 points and did a little bit of everything in game 2. Gasol giving Duncan some room on this opening possession, and Marcus Gasol called on the reach. First foul of the game.
And a big part of what's going to happen in this series is going to be determined by how well Memphis can play defense.
What the series is about.
Tim Duncan's first bucket of the game for the Spurs, but it's a certain mindset every time the game starts if you know it's going to be a physical series. Allen with the miss.
Yeah, this is going to be a war. I mean, both of these teams love to bang. The Spurs have always been a physical defensive team. I think their identity has changed a little bit this season. They rely more on shot making than they ever have. But the bottom line is the nuts and bolts of the San Antonio Spurs in playoff basketball is going to be the same.
Randolph gives you.
That's his favorite spot on the floor. He loves to come middle normally with that left hand, and he did it there, but went to the up and under and finished with the right.
Tipped up, no. McDyess almost had the spectacular slam on the follow. Here comes Conley. Allen on the run. Leaves it for Randolph. Good.
Great start from Memphis. The energy defensively. And now converting in transition. Tony Allen setting up Zach Randolph. Their stud is leading the way right now.
Zach Randolph with 5 quick points. Allen running the floor, doing it on the defensive end. And they got the white towels out here at the FedEx Forum.
Well, you've seen a little bit of everything that Zach Randolph has to offer. He's a load in the low post, the reposition, up and under, gets McDyess in the air, and then Memphis gives an opportunity to get out and run. Tony Allen, the great draw and kick. Zach Randolph finding the right spot around the rim. Memphis rocking early. Post. When that happens, you really shouldn't give up slashers and cuts like that because you're staying home with the perimeter players. That was a breakdown by Memphis defensively. They want Tim Duncan to make shots over a one-on-one post defender.
High-low, the Grizzlies go and Gasol the bucket and the foul. The help came late, and Marcus Gasol will go to the free throw line.
Perfect position right here, the high-low. You see Matt Bonner trying to front, but it's a perfect delivery on the high-low. Good seal by Gasol. He's got great hands for contributions, but he's been steady as a rock all season. Gives him a nice spark of scoring off the bench.
Gasol turns at the baseline. Pretty move as he fades away from Bonner.
You see that soft touch I talked about right there.
Bucket underneath, the second-year player out of Pittsburgh.
Well, San Antonio now has the lineup on the floor that can spread the floor the best. You've got Bonner out there at the 4. You've got Gary Neal. You've got George Hill, Ginobili.
Here's the problem. You got to guard Gasol inside.
That's what you give up at the other end. And Greg Popovich told us there, that's really what he brings to the table. Instead, Manu took a tough off-balance shot there.
Reyes Vasquez, rookie from Maryland, on the floor for the Grizzlies now. It's had a tough series so far. Left-handed jump hook from Battier.
Hey, Battier aggressively going after what Memphis hit the Spurs with early in this game. You got the feeling right now that it's a 15-point game, but if you look up and it's 8. And San Antonio is slowly starting to turn this game around, and they're doing it defensively. Controlling the backboards, limiting Memphis to one shot, getting transition opportunities. There you see scrapping in the paint, trying to get hands on balls and trying to be disruptive defensively.
It's a 7-0 run by San Antonio. Memphis getting the better end of things out the open floor. It'll be Jefferson and Gasol to jump it up. Tim Duncan continues to rest on the bench for Greg Popovich.
Right now he seems comfortable going with a smaller lineup out there. This is the lineup that can attack you off the dribble with Parker and Hill. You've got Jefferson out there to spot up, and then McDyess and Dwan Blair trying to control Gasol and Zach Randolph.
Gasol controls it. Here's Randolph guarded by McDyess. No help. No, now here comes the double. A great wraparound behind the back to Allen to beat the shot clock. Wow.
Yeah, Zach Randolph has always been job tonight running the show for Memphis.
It's the one thing Mike, who we're watching now, can't do as well as his pops, and that's lead. No shot. Parker swatted away by Gasol. Tony Parker had a tough time in the first couple of games, and it continues here in game 3.
We're so used to seeing Tony Parker just have his way with opposing defenses, just getting wherever he wants with that acceleration and the floaters and just gutting your defense. And he has just had a hard time in this series getting any space to get to the basket to make anything happen.
1 of 7 so far. Good lead, though, for Duncan this time as they beat the 24-second clock. 6 in the game for Tim. Gasol. And one. Screen and roll, as simple as that.
Basic pick and roll. Marcus Gasol straight down the lane to the front of the rim, and perfect delivery by Mike Conley right here. You see the screen on George Hill, and as he turns the corner, Duncan has to hedge. It allows Gasol just enough room to find that pocket in front of the rim. And a good point guard delivers the ball to your big guy, so he has to do as little work as possible. It doesn't have to put it down, try to force contested jump shots.
Under 2 minutes till the break. Young back on the floor, throws it away. Loose ball foul called. See if they got Gasol. They did. That's his second.
Talking about before the game, the paint. That's where this series is going to be won. And right now, Memphis getting the best of it. Zach Randolph got unleashed in the early part of the second quarter. Marcus Gasol has been so solid in all 3 games. Talking about 2 guys that really know how to finish once they get the basketball down low, and they have just attacked the Spurs and stopped for the Spurs. A kick out, and Tony Parker gets to the rim, gets a chance to get to the foul line. 12-2 in the first half, and fast break points. San Antonio's got to do something about that against this Memphis half-court defense. You've got to get out and get some easy opportunities.
Inside out they go, and it's Young who buries the 2-pointer. Sam Young, second-year player back in 1977. The Blazers tonight with a big-time comeback to even up their series. Young will go to the line. Lionel and respond to that run.
Absolutely. You've got to show some poise. For a young team, sometimes that's difficult when things start going against you. You tend to speed up your offense and take quick shots.
Called the foul on Marcus Gasol, trying to set the screen, but moving, and that's what's taking over.
Well, he's one of the quietest leaders this league's ever seen. He's done it by example throughout his career. Great teammate. But sometimes you have to get vocal in the huddle, and he did right there. And he's basically echoing what we're talking about, the sloppiness with the basketball.
Tony Allen, a great dish down low to Gasol, who finishes.
That bails him out with the offensive rebound. One of only 2 this half for Memphis. San Antonio dominating the boards 10-2 in the third quarter.
Bonner tips it out. Can Parker run it down? Just does. Lionel Hollins in the crowd yelling for over and back. After the shot, they didn't have possession. Parker, Duncan, misses, and here comes Conley. They've set it up and control this game.
Tim Duncan fell down there, and they actually had numbers for a minute, didn't take advantage of it. Now Duncan is back and anchoring the defense once again.
Bigger picture, Tim, when you look at this series, Memphis in control of this game throughout as Battier goes to work, taking advantage of the mismatch with Parker on him down low. Hard series so far for Memphis. Gasol never left the floor with that shot. Parker taken away by Vasquez. How many times have you seen Tony Parker not be able to finish in the open floor?
I've never seen Tony Parker have these kinds of problems when really you're talking about attacking one defender. In that case, it's Vasquez, and I know his eyes lit up when he saw Curtis Vasquez back there. But Vasquez does a great job of getting the basketball. It leads to an extra possession.
I noticed it in the last time out. This is a very nervous building right now.
Yeah, they sense something slipping through their fingers right now, and Memphis has 8 minutes to turn this around.
Gasol, who's been on the bench for several minutes, sweeping hook shot in the lane, and a 2-point. Battier, who's been a part of every one of the 13 playoff games for Memphis. Gasol, and a foul. Take a timeout, step away with 5:49. Normally an excellent free throw shooter, but the last couple of games, maybe because of the brace, he's been a bit off.
Well, you can see his release is different. His right hand is not staying with the basketball as long as it normally does.
Mayo pump fake, got Ginobili up in the air, and that's a 3. O.J. Mayo with the triple. Battier, who had that game winner to close out game 1. After Bonner hit a couple of big threes for the Spurs. 3 on the shot clock. Gasol's got to go. Lets it fly. Marcus Gasol from the free throw line.
Well, Mike Conley did a great job of probing the defense. Sort of pick and roll maybe with Gasol. But I want to see this basketball going back into Zach Randolph's hands at some point if I'm Memphis.
5 on the shot clock. Zach has to shoot it. And buries it. It's a 3-pointer for Randolph, who didn't really want to shoot it. had to, and knocks it home.
Well, I know that's not what Lionel Hollins drew up, but the bottom line is it ended up in the hands of your best player.
One more look at the three. And they're celebrating just around the corner from Beale Street. Two-possession game. Ginobili, Battier guarding him. He got help from Gasol. The foul along the baseline.
The last thing that you want to see right there for Memphis. You've got Manu Ginobili pinned on the baseline, nowhere to go, jumping in the air to make a pass, and you commit a foul and bail him out. Give him a chance to get to the line.
Hill on Conley. Bonner on Gasol. And it's Duncan on Randolph. 5 on the shot clock. Zach looking to go high-low. Can't. Steps back. Not this time. Hill clears it. Got to go. Ginobili. Scrambles. That'll do it. Time is out. And a victory for Memphis as Ginobili and the Spurs did not execute on that final possession, Tim.
Tim Duncan looking mystified as if he tried to signal for a timeout. San Antonio pushed it. Ginobili got himself in a bad position on the court. He wasn't behind the three-point line. They wrapped him up. Spurs don't even get a quality look, and Memphis holds on.
Many teams don't want to call a timeout. Coaches like to go before the defense gets set, but Ginobili took it inside the lines.
Well, down by 3, you typically want to so you can run a set. You see Greg Popovich grabbing his head as the ball's being advanced up the court, almost as if to say, we wanted a timeout. Duncan trying to call a timeout when the ball was over half court. But you just rarely see a team like San Antonio, a veteran team like this, fail to execute in that situation the way they did down the stretch.
Parker can't believe it. They love it here in the FedEx Forum. The first ever playoff win for the Memphis Grizzlies at home. 91-88, the final. They take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-7 series.